How is it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is running its Planet of the Discount sale, and with that sale, a ton of great deals. We've already covered a lot of stuff, but now we're looking at some very cheap games under the price of $5. Now, with this video, we're not gonna go under the price of $3 because I got a separate video for that coming out later. You know, I gotta get the content on this channel. You guys know how it is. Gotta keep the lights on. Chicken ain't getting any cheaper, so with that being said, again, got a lot of deals under $5, so let's get right into it. About 15 games or so, and let's start things off with Trek to Yomi. It is 80% off for $3.99. And for non-Plus subscribers, it will be $4.99. I really enjoyed Trek to Yomi. The issue with this game was, of course, the price point. The initial price point, even at $20, the reality is this game you can literally complete in like 3 to 4 hours, but the 3 to 4 hours I thought was really well done. The atmosphere to the game is great, the art style is great, the black and white aesthetic, and the gameplay is serviceable. It's fine, it's nothing blow away, but as a action platformer, I think it works pretty well. For $3.99, it's a great deal, especially if you're into this setting, if you're into the presentation style. You'll enjoy it quite a bit. Next up, we have Strayed Lights, 75% off for $3.24 if you are a Plus subscriber. If you're a non-Plus subscriber, it will be a little bit pricier, but at $3.89, still well worth it. Strayed Lights is a game that I've talked about a few times. Game deserves a little bit more love. Now, it very much is like a Souls-like game from a mechanic standpoint. However, it is not difficult whatsoever. This is a very easy Souls-like game, and y'all know me. Y'all know me when it comes to Souls-like games. You know, I'll lose my mind, but if I could get through Strayed Lights, anybody can get through Strayed Lights. It has this cool, like, color mechanic to it where you have to align your color to the colors of the enemies, and it works fairly well. Love the soundtrack in this game, love the atmosphere. While it is a Souls-like title in, you know, how the combat goes, this is a super relaxing game because, like I said, it's not difficult whatsoever, and if you just want to chill out, you know, enjoy the visual style, the aesthetics, and have a fairly relaxing action game, I think Strayed Lights is actually a really good option, and this is one of those sleeper games that I want to give some more attention to because I think they did a really good job with it. $3.24, great price on that, and even if you're not a Plus subscriber, good price nonetheless. Next up, we have Mato Anomalies, 75% off for $3.74. Trying to mention some games that I typically don't mention or don't give a lot of love to. Mato Anomalies is definitely more of a lower tier JRPG inspired title. It's done by Prime Matter, and Prime Matter has put out a lot of games. A lot of them, you know, more middle of the pack kind of games, but Mato Anomalies is one that I enjoyed in the sense that, like the character designs, I thought the setting was pretty interesting. It is very much like a lower budget dungeon crawling RPG. It'll see some comparisons to like the SMT games, and I can definitely see that, but I feel like that's setting the bar a little bit too high. It is not at that level, but for $3.74, I don't think it's the worst pickup in the world, so check that one out. Next up, we have a game that I go to bat for all the time, and that's GRIS. $3.39 on this one if you are a Plus subscriber. If you're not a Plus subscriber, it will be a little bit more expensive, but still at the price of $4.24 for non-subscribers, I think it's very much worth it. This is one of those games that I just recommend everyone to play and give a chance to because I think it'll resonate with everybody differently. You know how, like, and I shouldn't say, you know, because a lot of you guys probably don't remember when, like, Journey came out. Journey was a game that came out back in 2010 on the PlayStation 3 as a downloadable game, and I remember the traction that game got, and that game moved people to tears. And I played Journey, and I never got that vibe out of the game, but I can totally get why people emotionally resonate with certain games, and I feel like that is very much going to be applicable to different people with different games. And whoa there, a hot take there, people are going to react to games differently, but from an emotional standpoint, I think depending on when you play a game like GRIS or a game like Journey or a game like Flower in your life and what you're in the mood for, it's gonna very much resonate with you at that level. GRIS is a game that tackles some very mature themes, and it is a game that some will view it as a little bit depressing, but I think from an art style standpoint, a sound direction standpoint, you can at least appreciate the game for what it is, and it's one of those games that I do feel like presents games as an art form. As corny as I think that saying sometimes is, I think with certain games it is totally applicable, and GRIS is one of those games that I recommend everybody just give a shot to. For $3.39, again, a good buy on that. Next up, SOMA, 85% off for $4.49. I've always said that I think this is Frictional's best game ever. I think SOMA is a remarkable survival horror game, and I'm not crazy on survival horror as a genre. Trust me, I play the games and I enjoy a lot of them, but am I blown away by them in the sense that, you know, I play like every major survival horror and I'm looking forward to every one that comes out? No, but SOMA's a game that I feel like set the tension so right, and it really, like, Soma's the game that put me on the path that tension and atmosphere, most important elements of a horror game, and that, like, kind of goes without saying, that those should be the most important aspects of a lot of horror games, but I feel like Soma just really, really shines as far as that's concerned, because you're not playing as an overpowered soldier or anything. It's really about creating that feeling of dread, and I think the game does it so well. A psychological horror game in a underwater remote research facility, not super lengthy, but perfect as far as the length of the game goes. $4.49, I think it's a great buy. Definitely check that out, especially for the Halloween time. A great pickup there. And speaking of frictional games, I'd be remiss if I don't mention Amnesia the Bunker. 80% off for $4.99 on this as well. Amnesia's not really my cup of tea. Like, I remember when Dark Descent came out and that game blew up, and then the bunker was really, really well received. Left all alone in a desolate World War I bunker with only one bullet remaining in the barrel, it's up to you to face the oppressing terrors in the dark, keep the lights on at all costs, persevere, and make your way out alive. A truly intense horror experience, rising tension, immerse yourself in the multiple ways of tackling survival in the shoes of the French soldier Henry Clement. You are armed with a revolver gun, a noisy dynamo flashlight, and other scarce supplies to scavenge and craft along the way. Again, if you want an engaging horror game, Amnesia the Bunker, another one to check out. Shenmue I and II is 85% off for $4.49. These games were so iconic of their time that even growing up, I wasn't really into Shenmue like that. You know, I never had a Dreamcast, never had an original Xbox or anything like that, but you would hear about Shenmue as this game that was kind of revered in the hardcore gaming circles, and definitely a game that, you know, from a technical standpoint, did push gaming forward in a lot of people's eyes, and on the original Dreamcast definitely pushed the technical boundaries. However, that was on the original Dreamcast, and the reality is you go back and play Shenmue 1 and 2, these games are mechanically dated, and, you know, they're not perfect. However, narratively, I still find them to be incredibly compelling games. Unfortunately, they kind of botched it with Shenmue 3, and I don't know if this story's ever gonna get finished, but nevertheless, Shenmue 1 and 2, 85% off for $4.49. If you want something that's a bit of a throwback, but at the same time you're open-minded of the idea that the games are gonna be, well, a bit archaic, I think you'll end up enjoying Shenmue quite a lot. It's kind of like a relic of a bygone era, so to speak, but I think the soundtrack's quite good as well. $4.49, a good deal there. Next up, we got Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, $4.99. I mean, you got a lot of iconic characters here, and you're putting them up in a beat-em-up fighting game. Like, I think it's enjoyable for what it is. Yes, All-Star Brawl 2 did come out, and it's generally received much better, but you're talking about the price point here, $4.99. Again, if these are characters you grew up with, or you have a younger sibling, a kid that you want to play some games with, I feel like this is a pretty decent shout at this price point, so I want to give that a mention. Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition is $3.74. I've always said the Metroidvania market right now has some of the best games in terms of reception of the people that played those games. However, there's so much competition that even a quality game like a Guacamelee gets lost in the shuffle, but I thought this was a super charming Metroidvania action beat 'em up. You play as a luchador. It's hilarious in a lot of instances, and the art style is great. $3.74, a good pickup on that. Cat Quest 2, 75% off for $3.74 on this as well. Cat Quest has gotten a little bit of buzz. You know, Cat Quest 3 came out, and I feel like it got a good bit of attention. These games are always a good time. Again, if you're kind of burnt out, let's say you're playing Ninja Gaiden 4 and that game's whooping your ass like it's whooping my ass, you know, a game that acts as a good opposite to that would be a Cat Quest, where it's a kind of a kickback, relaxed kind of game. You don't have to take it too seriously, and it's still got a lot of charm and fun attached to it as well. For $3.74, I think that's a great pickup. Definitely would recommend that. Next up, game I recommend all the time, Mad Max, 75% off for $4.99. We recently just passed the 10th anniversary of this game coming out, and the only reason I know that is because I went on social media on September the 1st, and I saw so many posts about people celebrating Metal Gear Solid 5 on its 10th anniversary, and I was like, wait a second, that's the same day that Mad Max came out as well. You know, nobody gave love to Mad Max, but I thought it was an enjoyable game. Definitely a misfire to have it come out on the same day as MGS5, but these things happen. Mad Max was still an enjoyable open-world action title, and I remember playing Mad Max and just being blown away by the game from a performance standpoint. It just ran really, really well. Now, Bear in mind, it takes place in this barren desert, but still, thought the game had a good story. Combat was enjoyable, vehicular combat, a fun time all in all, but for $4.99, a great pickup there. Next up, we have Wall World, which is down to $3.99. Wall World 2 is actually about to come out, and it's a mining roguelite with the tower defense elements. Explore procedurally generated mines and discover fantastical biomes, find resources and technologies for purchasing valuable upgrades, fight off hordes of aggressive monsters using your mobile base, roam the wall freely day and night in various weather conditions as well. Mine, fight, upgrade, build, and explore throughout. Wall World is available for $3.99. Next up, another game for spooky season, Outlast, 75% off for $3.74. Also, remember when Outlast came out, and Outlast is a game that people definitely got a little bugged out by, in the sense that I think it was a horror game that pushed the envelope a little bit, at least for a lot of people in terms of what they saw out of a video game, and it was a little bit gruesome, and the eeriness to this game, the atmosphere, top level as far as that's concerned. I actually think if you have like a friend that's super into horror movies and whatnot, and you want to trip them out with a game, Outlast is a great one in terms of, you know, they're in for a wild ride with that one. I feel like some of that dissipated in Outlast 2, and maybe that was because like Outlast 1 set the tempo and you kind of knew the expectation after that, but still for $3.74, great deal there. Castlevania, Requiem, Symphony of the Night, and Rondo of Blood, 75% off for $4.99. Symphony of the Night is one of the most iconic games of all time, and revered for PlayStation 1 games, and at this point, it's a game that people look back at, and it's one of those games that set the standard for the genre. Rondo of Blood, I don't have a lot of opinions on, but I know people like it as well, but Symphony of the Night is outstanding. So $4.99, obviously PS1 game, so keep your expectations in line. And lastly, we have The Sinking City, the standard 90% off for $4.99. Heavy discount on this, so I thought I would give this a shout. An adventure and investigation game in an open world inspired by the universe of H.P. Lovecraft, the master of horror. The half-submerged city of Oakmont is gripped by supernatural forces, and you're a private investigator, and you gotta uncover what's going on. $4.99, thought that's a pretty good pickup, and you know, these games, if you're into mystery investigative games, are always a pretty good time. Not blow away, but pretty good, all things considered. That'll do it for me. Again, a lot of great deals available right now under the price of $5. Links to everything, as always, in the description box below. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, and as always, thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.